Hey YouTubers, it's Steve Robertson again, coming from Rescape, my YouTube channel that seeks to aid and benefit people by helping them be more aware or informed on their fundamental perception of reality and what that is and how they can safely alter that at their leisure to increase quality of life and relationships and such, and how a correct or approximating truth of a correct fundamental perception of reality. This is Glow. She likes to jump in my lap when I'm making videos, but how you can create a human being to be who they're supposed to be if they can perceive truth clearly with the correct fundamental perception of reality, and how that causes people to do and be things they didn't know they could do or be, and then how groups of people can form together when their fundamental perception of reality approximate truth, and how those groups have and can in the future change the course of human history. Today I'm going to continue on the natural state from last time. If you haven't seen the video on natural state from my previous video, it's basically just the idea of being in a place of self-honesty and just honest with yourself and who you are and acting out of that, such that when people meet you, they know you, and that you're brave enough to present yourself as yourself that way. Very vulnerable position. But what that leads to is, if you maintain, as a discipline, maintain that self-honesty and to stay in your natural state, then what will happen is that not only will you be coming across situations where you'll have to start correcting yourself and becoming a better person, but also your circumstances will begin to improve. So it's not just an inward game, it ultimately becomes an outward game, as correcting your fundamental perception of reality, which is an inward thing, then changes the world. It's an outward thing. So for example, every moment when you're in your natural state, you'll be improving, as in that present moment will have meaning and purpose. So for example, if you weren't in your natural state, you could be doing something that doesn't have meaning, you're not learning anything, and so you're just kind of existing, and that's the state a lot of people are in. And then when you're in a natural state, eventually what will happen, you'll get to a point where you understand that if you're doing something that doesn't have meaning, it'll make you miserable, and you'll have to start introspecting and being like, why am I doing this? It doesn't even make sense. When you are in your natural state long enough and you start becoming more and more healthy, every moment will have two characteristics. The first one, that being in that moment has purpose, meaning you're learning something, you have fulfillment in that moment. The second thing is that that moment will be leading towards something else. So the purpose and meaning means there's something in the future. Either you're improving some way, or there's a relationship that you have that you're growing in, or there's an event or a situation you want to create, but there's steps to lead to that point. So I had a video on the present moment. Also, this kicks back to, if you want to go way back, like one of my first videos I did it's called On Purpose, and it talks about how having a reason will change the minutiae actions of how you come across doing things, and how. And on a more simple note, let's say if you have a guy who's getting ready to go to work versus getting ready to go fill his car up with gas versus getting ready to go on a date, like taking a shower and brushing your teeth and all that stuff, it's the same thing every time. But if you were to watch the man, like if his life's on a DVD, reality TV show, you'll notice that he's the same actions are going to appear. He's doing them, very differently depending on what reason he's doing them for. If he's going on a date, taking a shower is going to be different than if you're going to go fill up, your car with gas, whatever. Anyway, so that's on a more simple level. When I did On Purpose, I didn't mention it that simply because I had trouble. I wasn't as good as explaining my ideas, but you have two things. You have the purpose of the moment, the fulfillment of the present moment, or whatever you're doing, and then you have the purpose of it in the future. Now, people in modern day societies are very good at doing things now for future purposes. You just go to a job and you make money because you need the money to pay bills or retirement or whatever. It doesn't have to be money, but there's that one. But then the present part, you're at your job and you hate your job and it's just not fulfilling at all, and you're just miserable, but you put up with it because you can't make any more money, and if you try to do something that you find fulfilling, you won't make nearly as much money, so you just suck it up, and then that's not being in your natural state. But so you really have to have two. You have to have both things going on. Now the key is when you're in the present moment, and some examples of the present moment, not like the exact right now moment. I did a video on the present moment talking about the exact right now moment. When I'm talking about the present moment now, I'm talking about like the present moment you would have if you're having a conversation with someone, you're not thinking about, if you're really present with someone talking to them and you're not texting on your phone or thinking about something else, when you have a conversation with someone, it's normal just to be present with that person. Nothing else being special. You just to listen to someone and to talk with them, you have to be present. Second thing is if you're listening to music, or even better, if you're like in a cafe or a theater or something, and there's a musician and they're playing, and the audience is listening to them, and like that whole room will take on an air of like whatever that music is, like the people in that room will have that shared experience, and the room will come across such that if the music were to suddenly stop and then someone were to walk into the theater or whatever, and then the person, not knowing anything else, could tell there's something there that, okay, so there was definitely music here just a split second ago, because I can, you can just tell. So there's that kind of presence. And so presences can be changed by art, music, conversation. It can be changed by weather. Weather will change, how things feel, just the atmosphere of places. Certain people have presences that when they walk in the room, depending on their reputation, they'll change the presence of a room. And all this takes place just in the now, because when you're experiencing all these things, you're not thinking about plans that you've made in the future. But the way that you are in that area is affected by the plans that you made and then forgot temporarily to be there. And that's the reason or the purpose, is that you've then placed in the future, that's now in the background, that's affecting the quality of the actions that you take in the present when you're in those places. So it's both. You want it wherever you are, you want to be there, even if you don't necessarily want to be there and you're doing it for a means and ends. That ends is still the reason that you're there, and you can still enjoy that moment even if it sucks. Like probably 90% of being a man is doing shit that you don't want to do for people that you love, and then that's just sort of accepted. That's how, as far as I know, that's how it's always been. And they don't want to be there, but they really do, because they have a reason and purpose, and so they're in that moment. You can be in a place you're doing hard manual labor and your body hurts, but your spirit doesn't hurt because it has a reason of being there. And then that helps you enjoy that or whatever to an extent. So that's sort of the level of enjoyment. I'm not talking about enjoyment like being on a roller coaster ride. I'm talking about enjoyment of doing something worthwhile. And people don't have that anymore. And as far as I know, if you're in your natural state and you are enjoying the moment, not having a future purpose or reason, you'll automatically have one, and that there's usually going to be someone there with you, such that if it's a meaningless act, like you're walking, in the park, well, now you're walking your dog, and so you're growing your relationship with your dog. Or if you're by yourself in the woods, well, you're there with God, and so now you're growing your relationship with God. And so there are future, not necessarily ends, but there's a growth or increase or a gain. Even if you don't believe in God and you're just out by yourself, and if you're in the moment and you're in a natural state and you feel fulfilled and you don't have any ends for means of being there, and you don't believe in God, or there's no one else there, chances are you're learning something, you're experiencing something, and you're just growing as a human being in general. So you have to have both. You can have both by being in the natural state eventually. If you live a shitty life and then you start chipping away at the natural state, you're probably still going to, life's going to be shitty for a while, but it eventually gets to the point where you will feel fulfillment in the present moment, irregardless of the ends, but you'll be there for ends that gives you the reason of being there and having that fulfillment, and then the ends will be there too, and there'll always be improvement. There's always improvement. If you follow God, you're always learning something. I think I said that in another video. And it's true with any relationship. If you spend time, if you're present with a person that you're in a relation, any kind of relationship, it could be a pet, the more time you spend there, the stronger the relationship grows. It's not a coincidence. The universe didn't just randomly do that like that. Like there's a reason behind that. So anyway, so this is Rescape. I don't know what I'm going to call today's video. I don't know yet, but anyway, so yeah, basically, if you find yourself not content in the present moment, you need to find out why you're there, what that reason is. And if it's not the reason you want to be there, you need to change the reason and do something else. So if you have any questions, post in the comments, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.